What's up, guys? Welcome to another installment of Rap Digest. I'm your host, Jay Holland. Today I'm joined by my
Okay.
co-host, Murdoch. What's up,
What's
Murdoch?
up? How's it
And
going?
lovely Quelly.
Hey.
Recently, we just had the passing of Shock G from Digital Underground.
Yeah.
Um, it sucked. I found out like late last night. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this guy's work, he's a founding member of the hip hop group Digital Underground. He was responsible for bringing us Tupac, just a West Coast rapper, legendary icon. What are you guys' thoughts on it?
Um, I'm I'm still I honestly just found out today, but I don't really know like what happened. I don't even really how did he pass away? I'm really curious about that.
I believe it was a stroke or a heart attack.
I didn't how old was he?
57.
Oh wow, that's kinda young though.
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
all the greats are passing at their 50s. Even DMX was in his 50s. He was only 50. And then we also had the passing of Black Rob.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
he did a message to DMX while he was in the hospital.
Yeah, it's just it sucks, and it's sad to see these icons that we looked up to and grew up on just pass. But it is a part of life. It's just unfortunate that they had to pass so young at an early age.
Right.
Yeah. Last week we were saying like the same thing, just about how it's kind of been nonstop with us consistently losing icons over the past year, and it's been 2 weeks since the last episode, and then we've like lost another two, and it's just like it's just like
Yeah.
I said the exact same thing last episode. Like, just give us a break, like for like a sec.
But in a positive note and more lighthearted news, did you guys hear about Usher's currency, the Usher bucks?
The Usher Bucks. I saw that going
Oh
around
my
Twitter.
gosh, yes, yes. I think that is so funny. And the fact that so many people jumped in about their experiences with Usher and how he didn't have any money or Usher bucks or whatever it is. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so the actual story that came out was that he was performing in Vegas. He has a residency in Vegas, and after he was performing at like a strip club, or he was just hosting there or whatever, and he was tipping the girls, tipping the dancers, and paid for bottle service and everything. But when he left, like his flyer for his residency was on like the fake kind of 20s or whatever. So like he didn't throw the money on the ground, but his team just left like a couple of flyers on the ground just to promote. Like it worked, but at the same time, like it's just funny, like the thought of Usher paying with currency with his face on it at a strip club. Like it's genius at the same time. Like
Like, I heard they actually like did pay like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But it was just like Twitter really just like took it and ran with it.
Yeah,
It
I
was
like
just-
the
it was
fake
such
story
a good
better.
meme.
Yes.
Like like
I saw-
ASAP. As soon as I saw it, like the memes were just flooding, and I was cracking up about it. Especially because like I feel like you don't even hear about Usher too much anymore, which is sad because I feel like it was like such
You
a.
don't.
And then like this is like what we like out of like so many like years of absence, like this is how we're like, getting back to the spotlight. But it worked. I mean, like now we're all talking about Usher.
Yeah, we're
again.
talking
No,
about Usher
right.
in 2021.
That's hilarious. I would be so mad if I picked up, you thinking they done made it rain, you about to pick up all your bills, you looked up and Usher's face is on the money. I would be so pissed off.
By the
You-
time you look up, he's slipping out the door. Like, wait.
Right.
Without any further ado, let's get into the Brockhampton album review. So going into the album, like this was a selection by Murdoch.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the artists, so I was excited for the.
So
new
I
album.
went in kind of blindsided to this. I had no idea that these guys were a group. So
Which one's Brockhampton?
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, why did he put this guy on this song? And I'm like, wait a minute, it's not like it sounds different a little bit each time. And I'm like, oh snap! Like I googled it, I'm like, oh, it's a group. but I like that because like it's unison and they're all bringing like style and flow to the brand. And I like that. Like with
Mm-hmm.
cohesive hip hop, like even just having a group in hip hop is hard to do because there's so many egos, especially in hip hop itself. But like for them to have a hip hop group and make music, like I salute it.
Yeah, and it's a cool just like background story of how they got together was they all met online on hip hop forums and were just
Oh,
like, hey,
wow.
like we're all different like musicians, like we should make a group. And they all moved in together into a house, like they like left their lives behind. They're all like 18 years old and they moved into a house together and they just pumped out like 3 albums in 1 year and just like were really good at it and just like got famous. Like so it's kind of one of those cool things where like they're from all parts of like the country and stuff and they met online and moved in and then made it happen.
Yeah, like with message boards especially, like you really can, and even just online internet, like you could really can work with people that have the same interests as you and the same career paths, and you really just can work together and make like a really solid project and create like a bond that's stronger than people that you might know in person. So I respect that. I had no idea. We can go by track. Let me just pull it up. Buzzcut. What did you guys think of Buzzcut?
So I'm a big Danny Brown fan. I know he's more much like an acquired taste, or people either love him or hate him. And that was the first single that they dropped from the album. So as soon as they like announced that like they had, because they don't really do features like that. Like so this is the first album where they like have a bunch of like big name features, and so like for one of those to be like one of my favorite artists, I was super hyped on it, and I'm really into like the experimental sound, and I don't know, I was a big fan of it, and I think it was a cool way to start off the album with just like, because it kind of just like knocks like right away, like it's like very fast paced and like loud and has more of the experimental production and stuff. But yeah, I was a big fan of it. I think Danny did a good job, and Kevin, who was the main guy in the group who did the first verse, I think he did a really good job, and he's like shown that he's just like gotten better at rapping like throughout the years in the group. And I don't know, I think it was a strong way to start off the album in my opinion.
Like you, I was also blindsided. I actually never heard of Brockhampton, so this was like my first experience listening to the thing in its entirety. So for that particular song, I personally wasn't a fan of it. It was okay, but it's not something that I would listen to on the daily. Now there are other songs that we get to, I'll mention that I actually like. Like it's funny because when I played it, I put it on shuffle first. I didn't listen to it from like 1 to the end. And so the first song that came on shuffle, I liked. I was like, oh, okay, like I think I can get into this, but it kind of varied throughout the album for me. Like as far as like what I would listen to with the different sounds. Like I said, it's new for me, so I'm listening, comparing like to other things that I already listened to, and artists that I know. And that particular song, I didn't personally like. It's not my particular kind of song that I would go for, I would say, but that's my opinion on that song. So for that one, I don't have much opinion. It's just not my taste.
I like the way the beat had changed at the end of the song. Like I'm like a mark for like stuff like that when they change the beat. Because again, like going back to the previous episode, like Drake, just being a huge Drake fan, Drake always changed the beat pattern during his song. So like anytime there's a complete beat switch up, I'm like, oh, okay, you got me. But I really like Danny Brown's verse. I wasn't too much of a fan of the chorus of the song, but I think Danny Brown stole the show on that one. He brought a lot of energy. I liked his delivery. And again, I like the way the beat had changed up at the end.
You had said before about listening to it on shuffle, and this is just kind of a note that I had on the whole album with this, like, I feel like me being a fan, I feel like their past albums have all had like vibes for like the album, like there was like a consistent vibe, and I feel like this one was the one that was kind of the most like all over the place. Like there was a lot of like different vibes, so I feel like even listening to it on shuffle was like kind of like getting like a similar experience of listening to it in order, because there are like so many different sounds on the
Yeah.
album, and like for me it wasn't in a bad way, because I like variety, but I could see how some people could be like, yo, this song is like this and this song's like completely different, and like these are like next to each other like on the album and stuff. So
Because that's how I felt when I was listening to the song, and I'm like, is that Charlie Wilson? I started listening, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, it's a nice like collab. It's like something I would like, but not expected.
Yeah, that
So-
Charlie Wilson feature, that shit snuck up on me too.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay.
What did you guys think of Chain On?
I like that one. I'm trying to like go in my head like the name of the songs and how I heard. And like I said, it was in shuffle. So
I just thought like the lines were pretty witty on there. Like I think that was the same song that had like Dragon Ball Z references and a few other references that I liked. And I like when artists reference stuff that I'm like interested in or stuff I'm kind of familiar with. And I'm like, oh, okay, like
yeah,
how did you think of that line? Or I like the fact that you incorporated it.
definitely. Yeah, I enjoyed that one too. I think JPEG Mafia had a really good verse. Like he started off strong, and Dom had the second verse on it. And I think personally, I'm really familiar with all the members in the group. I think he's the best like rapper out of the group. And I don't know, like when I heard him hop on that beat, I was like, oh, he's the one who should be on this beat. And I feel like he just like killed the verse and just like, I don't know, had really good strong energy.
So coming in at number 3 on the track list is Count on Me. What did you guys think of that one?
I love that song. That's the song that came on shuffle first. That's the song that came on shuffle first, and I'm like, oh, I like this. I can't tell you what it really reminds me of, but it gave me some like a familiar kind of feeling, and I just liked it. Like I like the whole flow of the song. I like the melody. I just like the song in general. Like that was the first song that came on. I was like, oh, okay, I like it. And I was waiting for you to get to that song.
Like real like summer vibes. Like it had like that catchy hook and stuff like
Right.
that. So I really like that one too. That was one of the singles that they released before the album, and I heard that and I was like, oh, this is like this is like a single. Like I could hear this one on the radio, and I don't know. And I've consistently gone back to it as like if I don't want to listen to the whole album, like I've definitely like picked that song back out and been like, yeah, this one's like mad catchy. And I like the melody too, so I agree.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. This one for me, like I had noted it, that it was like my favorite one so far. Like it was this song and another one. I'm like, all right, these are my 2 favorite songs off the whole album. But this one, like same thing, I found it to be catchy and something that had replay value that I could go back to and just listen to it without having to stream the whole album. At track number 4, which was Bankroll, which had your boy ASAP Rocky on here and ASAP Ferg. I had no idea ASAP Rocky was on here. I kind of like the beat reminded me of him, so when I heard his voice, I'm like, all right, about to hear some ASAP. And then I don't think we got a verse from him, but we just got a chorus and we got a verse from Ferg. But nonetheless, I still was like satisfied with it.
Yeah, I thought that was. I thought that was like one of the best verses from ASAP Ferg that I've heard in a while. I like ASAP Ferg and I like a lot of his early stuff, and I've liked a couple of his more recent stuff, but I thought he like really went off like on the intro of that track, like with the beat and just like his flow. He just really sounded like he was like eating it, you know.
It was not one of my favorites, but it's not one of the ones that I like least either. I think I only listened to it maybe like once or twice when shuffling through the album, because I really wanted to like dissect the songs that caught my ear first. Because generally the music is it's a little darker than what I listen to, but it's not overwhelming. It's just not something that I was vibing to. So certain songs I was just like, I don't necessarily really want to go all the way in it. It just wasn't feeling me. But I think that's going to be a song that I can see it growing on me. It's just not something not one of my go-to songs right now.
Next was track 5, The Light. Personally, this is my favorite song on the album. Just like when I heard the beat, like the beat kind of reminded me of like M or like Dr. Dre for some reason, just like the drum pattern on here. and I love those type of beats. So like as a artist myself, like always look for beats with like a certain sound to it or a certain snare or kick. And I know if Leroy was on here, he had access to talk about the production. So just like the production value of the song, I really like the production. And again, this is my favorite song on the album. What did you guys think?
Yeah, this one was really, this is like the first like really personal one, and I'm a fan of that kind of stuff. I like the emotional. I like when artists like they don't have to, like, the whole album doesn't have to be, you know, sad and emotional, but like I like seeing part of their personality and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think this was shocking for one of the members, Jobo. I think he had the first verse on it and like the intro where he was talking about how like in the past year, that his dad had committed suicide. Like, and I don't think anybody that was public knowledge. So I think that any like fans of the group, when they had heard that and him rapping about it, that was really just like the unveiling of the news to everybody. And I don't know, just to hear him like rapping about something so personal that had happened like so recently, and like over that production with like the guitars and everything, like I thought it was really strong. And I agree. I really like this song, and I don't know, I really liked the vulnerability of both of the verses, but mainly the first verse of this one.
Yeah, the talking part in the beginning is actually what drew me in, because I was like, did I hear him say that his dad killed himself? And I'm like, okay, so that's what made me want to listen to it. It is a very personal song, and it is dark and very, very sensitive. So, and me not being a fan, it kind of threw me off a little bit, because I wasn't sure if it was like an actual personal memoir or if it's like a storytelling kind of song. So you actually explaining that like it was it was an event that the person who was rapping, that was his story. That's really interesting. It's kind of different if you have a parent that, you know, passes away, but to have a parent that commits suicide is very, very sensitive to talk about.
Yeah, and again, just to go back to talking about vulnerability, like again, when you have like a super dope beat and you add like serious content to it, and like if you nail it, then I just have more respect for you. Like you're not just rapping about anything, like you're rapping about actual substance, something that's personal to you, something that's real, and something that's dope at the same time. So again, that has to be like my favorite song on the album. Like the album didn't start for me until I heard this song. So
nice.
So number 6 brings us to Windows.
This one was kind of like the posse cut of the album.
Yeah.
Where, like, everyone kind of had a verse, and I liked it. I liked the production. I think it went on a little bit too long. I think maybe like the last verse or two could have been.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah. Should we wait, or can I?
No, you can keep going.
Okay. I think maybe like the last verse or two could have been cut or shortened, just to make it a little more compact and re-listenable. But I also am a fan of posse cuts, and I love when a bunch of rappers get on the same beat and like show their different styles. So I liked it. It wasn't my favorite, but yeah, I think it could have been shortened a little bit.
Yeah, posse cuts are like the most fun to record, because you got everybody just in the studio just like, yo, let me add a verse or whatever. It's just fun. Like even if you're not a rapper, like you just participating in, you know, the act of collaborating and just having fun with your friends and your homies. I wasn't a fan of whoever had the second verse on the song. It's like, you know, it's always that one person in a posse cut that shouldn't really be on the song, but like he cool, so you just like keep him on the song or whatever.
Yeah. We're not gonna just cut your verse.
Yeah, like that was just my take on it. Hope I don't get any flack back from any other fans. But number 7, Charlie Wilson with the "I'll Take You On." What did you guys think of this one? I know we talked about it a little bit.
I like that. It was like a little sweet surprise. I was not expecting to hear Charlie Wilson on the song. I was like, I know this person. And then the beat kind of came in smooth. It was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that at all. I really like that song.
Charlie Wilson.
Yeah, go for it. No,
I wasn't gonna say anything important. I was gonna say like Charlie Wilson is just in the studio everywhere with like everybody.
All right, if nobody got work, Charlie Wilson got work. Uncle Charlie's on somebody's song somewhere.
Like just that old guy that's like, hey man, if you want me to do a hook for you, I got you. Just let me get
Uncle
some studio
Charlie.
time.
I'm not gonna say no. Like,
Yeah, who's gonna say no to Uncle Charlie?
Right.
Yeah. I feel like this is kind of where the album like flips, like sides kind of. Like the first half is kind of like a lot of more like rap heavy stuff, and this is the second half is really when it starts to get like a little more poppy, and the group has branded themselves in the past as like a boy band, but like a boy band with rappers, and I feel like this is like when that persona kind of like really took over, because this is like really when like the more poppy hooks and the more poppy beats started coming in. But I really like this one. I think this one was super catchy. I like the dance beat to it. Like I've come back to this one a couple of times too. It's just fun. It's like a good vibe song.
I like that one. I listened to that one a few times. I can see what you mean with the flip. Like I can see it now. Like I did put it on shuffle, but looking at the track list, like on my phone, it does kind of take a turn. It slows down a little bit, also too towards the end.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one too. I think the chorus is catchy and the beat's good. And I don't know who this guy is, the feature Baird, but I really liked his verse. I even looked him up and I like couldn't find much. I just saw he had like a bunch of production credits, but I thought that they whoever he is, they placed him in pretty well, because his verse kind of fit the vibe of the song, and he had some cool rhythms and melodies going on.
Number 9, What's the Occasion? I can see it placed in like a soundtrack of like a TV show or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Perfect description. Perfect. I could definitely see that. Definitely. Like a transition scene, or maybe even an introduction to something. Yeah, I could totally see that.
And then we have number 10, which is When I Ball.
Yeah, I liked the verses in this one more than I liked the hook. I wasn't too crazy about the hook, but I thought like Dom's verse and the other ones on it were pretty good. It wasn't my favorite on the album. This is probably like one of the ones that I'm more inclined.
And then number 11, which was Don't Shoot Up the Party. See, I didn't like the chorus. But I like the message of
the message. Love the message of Don't Shoot Up the Party. Love the message. That's definitely probably number one on the album for me.
Yeah, it's just like coming up in like, of course, urban communities. So often we're at parties, or you hear about parties, not even if you attended it, that, you know, people are partying, just enjoying themselves, having a good time, and then someone starts shooting and violence erupts, and someone can lose their life from something that could just all be avoided altogether. But so again, I like the message of this song and just being straightforward, like, don't shoot up the party, like just have fun, have a good time, and just vibe. Like, you don't have to bring a gun to a party.
The lyrics in that song is awesome. Like, just from the beginning, starting off, like, I love that line. I just thought that was so interesting. I knew about Instinct before I knew Cash could rule me. That was very interesting.
I like this one too. I like the verses, and I like the production. It's got like the real like G-funk kind of West Coast vibe on it, like the high pitched synths and stuff. And I just like that stuff in general. So like I'm kind of like when that stuff comes up on a beat, I'm like, oh shit, I'm about this. But yeah, the message is dope, and it's hype. It's hype, but it's like it's dark, you know, like because of what they're talking about.
Yeah,
I always think
right.
artists are able to pull that off.
What did you guys think about Dear Lord? It's more like an interlude, right?
Yeah, because what is it, like 2 minutes?
Like 2 minutes or something. Yeah, because I was throwing off when I was listening to it. I'm like, it's like an actual song, or is it like an interlude?
Did you guys have any thoughts on The Light?
I thought it was an appropriate outro. And I mean, it's the same two rappers as the first one on The Light, and they kind of talk about the same subjects that they were talking about on the first one. So it was cool to have them back, because like I'm sure both of them have more to say about that than just, you know, one verse. And kind of like has like a nice message to like end the album on. It's like saying like the light is worth the wait, you know, like just like you know, even if you're feeling down and depressed, like, you know, don't rush to get to the end of your life, you know, like it's worth waiting and living your whole life to get there. And I thought it was a powerful like message to end the album on.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think like with mental illness, or even not even mental illness, just like dealing with shit, and you never know. Like, this is one thing I always like try to share on social media is like, hey, it's okay to check on your friends, because again, you never know what a person's going through. You could just see somebody yesterday and then they take their life tomorrow, and you think like, how did this person get to this point? When you never really checked on their mental health to be like, hey, you all right today? Like, you know, it.
Right.
I know even as guys, it's kind of hard or just masculine to be like, hey, you okay? Like, you can't really do that because F that. Like, just do it. Just check on your friends. Like, don't worry about being too macho, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, you want to make sure your friends are good and make sure your friends, family, and everyone around you is okay mentally. If you had to pick one song off the album to be like your choice, what would that song be?
Oh, it would have to be "Don't Shoot Up the Party."
Don't Shoot.
But then "Count on Me" comes like number 2 for me.
Okay.
Right after.
I would say "Count on Me" and "I'll Take You On" with the Charlie Wilson one. And I really like the first one, Buzz Cut. Personally, like that one gets me hyped, and I love Danny Brown. I'd say those would be my top.
Yeah, I think mine would be "The Light" and what's the song? "Count on Me," just to go back to that one. So I just thought that was like mad catchy.
Mm-hmm.
And so
we all agree on one song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we all have different favorites and stuff. That's the cool thing about music, you know.
And yeah, so what would you guys rate the album out of 5?
3.5.
3.5.
That's what I would give it. 3.5.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I really liked it. I think that there's a couple dips sometimes where some of the songs are stronger than the others, but overall I really enjoyed it, and there's a lot of songs in this one that I'll be coming back to.
Yeah, I think I would give it a 3.5 as well. Just for me, just because it's my first time being introduced to them. So like I'm still kind of like new to if I like certain people in the group style or which style I can gravitate towards. So like I would definitely come back to the album, try to give it another listen, and see if like my rating would change from there. Because sometimes that does happen once it grows on you. Like, all right, this album is a solid album or whatever.
Especially because the album has so many features too, so it's like there's like 6 people rapping on top of like almost a feature like on like every other track.
Yeah, so like, it's kind of like a lot to digest, no pun intended. So, but yeah, it was a solid album, and hope you guys enjoyed watching us talk about the album. And make sure you guys go download, stream, and check out the album. Support your favorite artists and support local artists as well. And that concludes Rap Digest. I'm your host, Jay Holland. My co-host, my friends Murdoch and Quali, my guys. This is Rap Digest, and make sure you guys subscribe.
Peace.